Cool. All right, so we're going to be talking about differentiate ourselves. So you guys already know we got the wrap shirts, we got the sales cards, you see the flyers, you see how we're doing it already. So let's do a big deep dive here. So you want to be the pear. We've all heard of apples to apples and then, apples to oranges comparison, that kind of stuff. But you got to look different from the outside. Be different on the inside as well. Because you got to have the heart of the company. You kind of see how we have the heart of the company? You see that? Because we got the system. The systems are the heart of your company. That's what's going to drive. You run your company on policy, not feelings. All right, so what are you doing? What is setting you apart? So tell me right now, guys, what's setting you apart right now from your competition?
This face. Our image.
Image? What'd you say?
This face.
Oh, hey, there you go. There you go. That's right. Good. So, image, yes?
Presentation.
Presentation.
Winning attitude.
Yes.
Customer service.
Attitude. Customer service.
Reviews.
Reviews. Awesome.
Educating customers.
Yes, and education. So why is it making you close more jobs? Why do you think those things are closing more jobs for you? Value. Building the value like we did yesterday through the stages. We were building that value. Can you replicate your wins? You know it. So what can make you be the pear? So I want you just to think about that. How are you going to be the pear? What will make you be the pear? How will you stay a step ahead of your competition? So we're going to talk about that. So let's see if I can play this video.
Hey, I'm AC Lockyer, the Professional Business Guide, and we're here at a town center in Anywhere, USA, and we're doing man-on-the-street interviews about what are apples-to-apples comparisons. Question, have you ever heard the term apples-to-apples comparison?
Sure.
Always. Many times.
No, I've never heard that phrase before.
No. You've never heard that before? Have you ever heard the phrase making an apples-to-apples comparison?
Yes.
Yes.
Have you ever heard the phrase making an apples-to-apples comparison?
No, I haven't.
You haven't?
No.
And here's an apple.
Okay.
Explain the concept of an apples-to-apples comparison using those apples.
Okay, if I'm comparing these two apples, I'm comparing these two delightful fruits, and to me, they're exactly the same.
A very good one because it's red delicious and red delicious.
That's right, red. Okay, so if you were comparing apples to apples right now, and you had two apples in front of you, how would you be comparing them?
By the color.
By the color?
Yeah. One's darker than the other.
That you would have to compare exactly the same thing right down the line. So everything would have to line up exactly to, get the right, comparison.
You've got similar items.
They're the same.
They're the same.
They're both red.
They're both red.
They both look good.
They both look good.
Same shape, same color, same variety. What more do I say about these lovely apples than that?
So have you ever heard of making an apples to orange comparison?
It's very difficult.
Now, have you ever heard the phrase making an apples to oranges comparison?
No, I haven't.
Have you ever heard somebody talk about making an apples and oranges comparison?
Yes.
Okay. So how would you compare an apple and an orange?
Color, taste, texture. They grow on different trees.
They're not alike. It's not the same. There's no comparison.
There's no comparison.
Way up the chain maybe, but further back up, fruit to fruit.
I could do it by the color, by the size, by the taste.
They're just two different items, two different things.
Have you ever heard of the phrase comparing apples to oranges?
I have heard of that phrase, yes.
So how would you describe that?
Okay, I'd say that's where two items are superficially the same, but actually quite different in terms of what they're like. They have some similarities, and so somebody might superficially say they're similar, but in reality they're quite different. So different color, different shape, different type of fruit.
Have you ever heard the phrase an apple to pear comparison?
Never.
So what would the pear be? Do you know what to do with a pear?
I eat it.
Have you ever heard the phrase making an apples to pears comparison?
No,
You have not.
haven't.
Have you ever heard of an apples to pears comparison?
Not before, no. I've never heard of that comparison.
They both got different shapes, different color, different texture, and probably different taste.
So have you ever heard the phrase making an apples and pears comparison?
No.
Then I probably want an apples to pear comparison where I've got a real alternative, a real choice, not just a kind of, I don't really want a superficial difference between the two. Apples to oranges may well be sufficient some of the time, but apples to pear gives me a real alternative.
I'd rather be a pear. I'm a pear person. Okay? Well, it's gotta be a mushy one.
But it's got a pear.
I'm a pear person. Jesus, that's hard.
I would consider myself a pear person.
Well, we just got done doing our man on the street interviews here, and it's just incredible some of the things you learn when you talk to people on the streets.
So you saw how he said that, right? Not a superficial difference. You want to be a real difference. You want to be the pear. So you don't want to look like this guy, right? He's got the sneakers on. He's not tied off. He's pressure washing the roof. You know, his rig is down there. It's a van with the pressure washer shoved in the back of it, right? So we want to talk about how we're going to be different in that, right? So now you have right here where we're talking about apples to apples, right? So we also have apples to apples here. So we're going to talk about how we're going to differentiate ourselves and how we're going to win. So here, you know, you got your magnet logo on here. We stepped up. They're pretty much apples to apples here. They got the uniform. They're a nice guy, right? So look at this. So apples to apples. So competition's here. You're here. So he's insured. You're insured. He's a nice guy. I'm a nice guy. He's uniformed. I'm uniformed. Licensed. He's licensed. He's got a website now. I have a website, right? So these are going like this, all the way across here. Website, but look at the difference right here. Look at this. So competition's $400. I'm $700 because we're trying to get more bang for our buck, right? We know our job costs this, but we're looking the same as our competition at this point in the game. Well, guess what? It's all about price at that time, right? Because we look the same. We're not different. He's a nice guy. He's saying the same thing. We lose in this point. All right, so apples to oranges. So now we're stepping up a little bit different, right? Now we're starting to kind of differentiate a little bit. All right, so your competition is insured. Well, now we're stepping up a little bit. We're green. And I just used that for an example. But we're green, right? He's a nice guy. We're still a nice guy. He's uniformed. Well, we got workers' comp. So this isn't really jiving. He's insured. You know, we have workers' comp now. He's got the website. We're certified now. You know, we're uniformed. He's uniformed. Okay. I got the website still. He's got the website. He's licensed. But again, we got workers' comp. We're certified, and we're green. So we got 3 different things here. So now we're starting to differentiate ourselves. We're at a 50% you win, right? Because now we're differentiating ourselves a little bit. Now we're starting to see, hey, we're green, so they're going to like that. We're going to win 50% when we start doing that. Make sense? So then you want to be the pear. So we want to set this up like we did yesterday to be the pear. This is key, right? So when we go out there, you know, your competition is insured, but we have workers' comp. So that line no longer meshes. He's a nice guy. We're an instructor now, right? Now we're stepping up the game to where you come to these events, you're really starting to learn, and the best way to learn this stuff is to teach it. So if you have the opportunity, step out of your comfort zone, start going to chamber meetings, start doing these presentations, start being an instructor in the industry whenever you can. You're teaching your guys. You know what I mean? So become an instructor now. So now you're an instructor. Now we went up and we wrapped the vehicles. So now you're going above and beyond. Your website matches your vehicle. Your shirts match your vehicle, right? We're certified. They're still licensed. They still got a website, but our website looks awesome, right? Then we go, and now we have Ask the Seal. You know, I was the only exterior cleaning company to have Ask the Seal in our area other than the largest plumbing company in our area that has the same type of system, right? So now we're looking like Corley's Plumbing, a larger establishment to where it's like, oh, I just got the email with your bio. You're breaking down the barriers before I'm even on site. So then they're like, hey, Pat, come on in. I know you got 4 kids. Tell me their ages. You know, they're already building the rapport, right? So Ask the Seal, huge. Next guy's not doing it. We have a reference list now. We did the Marriott. We start doing those big jobs. We have stories to tell now, right? We have references. You're getting reference lists. We had at one point 100 reference lists. It was like 100 references. And we had a piece of paper with 100 of them on there. You can call anyone you want. And we would have that in our company portfolio. Then you have 100 to 5-star, 100 5-star reviews. I know some of you guys are crushing it with 200, 250, you know what I mean? 5-star reviews. Competition might have 45, 50, right? Check out our reviews, right? Now you look at this price. Now the homeowner's like, I see the value, right? Now you're going to win. And again, you only want to win what? 65%. Because if you start winning more than that, you got to raise your price. Because you only want 65% of those wins. If you're winning 90%, you got to raise your prices. That just shows you that you're too cheap. So then you start raising your prices, then you start working on it and working and start really getting into it. So I wanted to show you that. You got to be the pair. I love that comparison there because it really opens your eyes. You got to differentiate yourself from your competition. You know, and the thing about it is we are our worst competition because it's all in our head. You know, our price, what can we get? You know, that confidence and stuff like that. So coming to something like this and knowing what you can, you know, work in your market and start raising your prices up 10% until you get somebody to balk back. When I had Jody Stedman, you know, he was closing 80, 90%. I'm like, we got to raise our prices, right? And we started doing that. And then we were like, hey, what's next week in our sales meeting? Have you gotten any balk back? Nope. Okay, great. Let's raise them 10%. They're like, I don't know if we can do that. Trust me, let's just do it. Then he's closing even more, you know? And then eventually we raised our prices literally 30% until we started getting some balk back. But who in here would rather do less work for more money? Everybody. You know, we're in business. I'm sorry, my website does not say .org at the end of it. You know, we have to make profit here so we can grow. We have a lot of mouths to feed, right? We got families. They have kids. You let these people know this stuff, and you build the value. You don't go out there and you still do the piss poor, you know, job for that price. No. You find out how you add the value. What services can you upsell? How can you serve that client better? How can we use our staff now to better the whole company, the whole customer trail, right? That way when they get to the end, they're just like, that was the best experience I've ever had out of any company. Nonetheless, this is a pressure washing, soft washing company, right? That's what I want. I want my customers to say, hands down, you guys are the best. And we get that, you know what I mean? And, you know, we don't get it 100% of the time. We fail, we're human, but we make it right, you know? If we mess something up, I'm out there. We destroy something, I'm buying it new, you know? I'm fixing it. That's gonna shoot you into, you know, the future with these prices, with getting referrals and all that stuff. So just want to show you that. That was a small little PowerPoint right there. And then we have, it's 11:30, so we're going to jump into the next PowerPoint real quick.